everyone. If you're new here, I am Tanya Stewart. I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, and I've been with the company since 2013. I love my story because it was a saving grace for my family. The business side of Plexus was a huge saving grace. I actually made a prayer and wrote it down and asked God to give me several things in my life, which was time flexibility, the ability to get out of a really hot mess situation. I'd gone through a major medical during that time frame. I lost everything I owned, ended up bottomed out on food stamps, selling personal belongings to get out of this situation. Saved my life, but ended up financially ruined. And I wanted to not have to go to an actual job because my medical diagnosis was life-threatening. It really was a wake-up call for me that every minute with my children and my family and my friends was going to matter, and I'd rather live poor than miss those opportunities because I really didn't know how long my life would be. I was past the medical, but it was enough for me to say, hey, anything can happen at any point in time, and I'm not going to sacrifice my time with my kids. So a week after I made that prayer, somebody showed me network marketing, and I went, bingo, holy cow. In fact, she explained the business almost verbatim to the things I'd written down in my prayer. And so I spent the next 4 years looking for a company that would match the purpose side of things. I really wanted something where our products were going to make a huge, massive difference in people's lives, not just like take off 5 pounds and look better in a pair of jeans. I wanted to have major impact in the world. That was one of the parts of my prayer as well. And 4 years later, I found Plexus, hopped on board, and it absolutely changed everything for us. A number of ways that it impacted us is 6 months before Plexus, I literally was on food stamps and selling my personal belongings. So 9 months after I found Plexus, I was retiring my husband. So that was the first major difference. Obviously, it's a big one. And then with that said, we were able to bring our kids home and homeschool them, which became a necessity when we moved to a southern state. I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I wanted to get away from kind of the gloominess and the cold. And so I moved south to North Carolina, and the school system was not great. So being that my husband was retired, he started homeschooling them and did so for the next 5 years. This ended up being a unexpected blessing that was absolutely, totally life-changing for us because our kids were able to be guided by us, and not only in an intellectual way, but with building their character, with developing their walk with Christ, and just walking them through some very important years of life that I know they would have never been remotely close to who they are today if we had not been able to do that step by step by step. And I think that was really God-driven, because I would not have made that choice on my own. And it's just been remarkable to see my children grow into the people that they are today. They're well beyond their years. They have a great relationship with God. And it's just been a really good thing that is almost miraculous in my mind, the way it's turned out. It also saved our marriage. So our marriage was basically hateful when we found Plexus, because as you can imagine, going through a financial crisis is hard enough, but then put the burden of a major medical on top of all of that, and I had to stop working my job. My job impacted his job because we both owned businesses, and my income was supporting things that he was doing in his business. And so his business fell apart. That's how we ended up losing everything. And so you can imagine there's a lot of turmoil there that puts stress on a marriage, and nobody would probably have made it through what we made it through. Thank God. I prayed really hard. But Plexus took care of that financial burden for us, and we were able to bring our marriage back together. And now it is amazing. It is better than it has ever been in my whole entire life. And I am blown away by all of that. And so, I guess what I would share with you most is like, look at the big picture of what can be in your life too. Like, this is not a typical opportunity where Maybe you'll make it, maybe you won't make it. It's not like that. To be honest with you, we have very, very strong processes that are not very difficult to follow. You just have to maintain consistency, kind of like taking your products so that you can get the outcome you're after. If you're not consistent, you won't lose the weight, you won't see the results that you're after. But if you stay consistent, we've shown time and time and time again that you get the results. It's the same thing on the business side. So don't think to yourself, well, I don't want to take that chance, because maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. It works if you work. That is the truth. Over and over and over, I've seen it. If you stick with it and you continue to improve your skill sets and you continue to do the business on a consistent daily basis, you can earn as little and just cover your products, or a gargantuous amount and live without the stress of financial issues. So that's my story. I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions at all, I'm an open book. My team, the rest of my team that knows me well, will tell you I'm a super open book. So feel free to ask me anything.